Hello everyone. Thank you for watching this presentation record. I'm Renyu Zhang. I'm the scientist of meat quality team in AgResearch. Today, I want to share with you some of my research findings on the dry aged lamb. Dry aging has been used by butchers for preservation and tenderization of meat for centuries, even before the invention of the vacuum packaging. However, dry aging now is only used by some upscale restaurants and retailers for the gourmet market for its intense and unique dry aged flavor. Dry aged beef has now been well studied in the last few decades and is already available in some local markets. New Zealand is the major exporter of red meat. It's important to always look at the trends in the international market to identify consumers' preference. Lamb is an important red meat favored by the consumers all over the world, and New Zealand is the major producer and exporter of the white-aged lamb. However, the studies on the dry-aged lamb are very limited, and the dry-aged lamb products are barely found in the local market. The main problem with the dry aging is the weight loss during the aging and the trimming, and also the risk of contamination. The cost and the food safety issue will be the major consideration for the export. In the last few years, the meat consumption pattern has changed, and our consumers are eating less meat, and particularly in some developed countries, and also the smaller portion of meat are preferred. Our millennials' eating patterns are starting to reshape the food industry, and our consumers are more interested to explore the food experience and also expecting the top quality premium food. We're now seeking the way to retain the value of meat and also know better about the market. And so there's an opportunity to develop a commercial dry lamb for the high value export markets. So the end of our study was to compare the quality and the consumer acceptability of the impact dry age and white age lamb. So in this study, 30 pairs of lamb leg were collected from the local abattoir, and the main section from the middle was used for aging. The left or right hand side of the lamb were randomly assigned to the two aging treatments. White aging at minus 1.5 degree, or the mean back dry aging using the water permeable aging bag at 2 degree. Uh, both aging method were carried out for 21 days. Following aging, the main section were cut into the 1.5 centimeter chops for the further analysis. For the industrial application, we are building a model to correlate the initial weight and the percentage of weight loss after 21 days of aging time and the current conditions. When the initial weight was recalled before the aging, and a certain percentage of the moisture loss can be expected from this model. So from the current study, within the same period of aging time, the similar portion size will result in smaller portion size will result in the higher moisture loss. And the model is still in progress, but we are expecting more data to complete this model. And eventually, so we will provide useful information for the industry regarding what sort of sellable yield is expected. If compare the dry aged lamb to the white aged equivalents, the dry aging lost about 20% of the moisture during the aging process compared to the less than 1% in the white aged lamb. However, once the meat is cooked, the white aged meat lost much more weight compared to its dry aged equivalents. We're looking at the total loss. The difference goes down to less than 10% between the two aging methods. We have also carried out some of the physiochemical analysis and also the microbial testing on both aging method. You can see from the result, the pH value of the dry aged lamb is slightly higher than those dry aged. However, the microorganism growth on the surface of the two methods was now quite different. It's worth noting that there's no mold was detected on for both aging method, and only the yeast level is a little bit higher on the dry aged lamb compared to the white age. For the sensory study, we have two sessions of sensory testing, including the consumer sensory, and the focus group were carried out on our target consumer who can afford this kind of premium products in order to find out whether or not they will like this kind of premium food. And what are their opinions about the dry aged lamb? A total of 114 consumers participate in the consumer sensory testing, and also we had a six-member focus group to understand why they like or dislike the dry aged lamb. In the consumer sensory study, consumers were asked to express their overall preference and eating quality rating on a hedonic scale. And both dry and white aged lamb were equally preferred by our consumers as a better than everyday product up to a premium product. Looking deeper into the findings, about 40% of the consumer prefer the dry age over the white age, and is most likely due to its unique taste and flavor. Well, the 45% of consumer will like the white age over the dry age. It's because they are more familiar with the white age flavor, or they like the tenderness. The average scores difference is the same, and the equal number of consumers considering the dry age or white age lamps as a better everyday product. For the focus group, and the participants will sit in the relaxed environment and evaluate the dry age lamp to discuss their opinions about the product. The question we were asking will include whether they like the dry age lamp samples or not, and also why they like or dislike it. And also the detailed information like the aroma, the appearance from the cooking and eating, and the texture, taste, and the flavor. From the finding, 5 out of 6 participants really liked the dry aged lamb, and only one panelist didn't like it because it's dry taste. And but the flavor was quite pleasant. The dry aged lamb was liked because of the fine and pleasant aroma, and its tenderness, and also it's easy to chew with the sweet, nutty taste, and also have a strong aftertaste, a stronger lammy aftertaste compared to the normal chops. And also our consumer didn't feel greasy after eating, even the lamb is cold. And however, the dry looking and the not caramelized appearance could be the disadvantage. And our consumers are expecting the brown color outside and the red inside. We also found one consumer felt the texture a little bit dry, and also another one was thinking there's no much different compared to the normal lamb chop. We have also conducted some of the instrumental analysis on the meat quality of the sample. From the color property of the both aged lamb, the color was differ slightly between the two aging method, and the dry aging reduce the value of the most color properties in our current study, except for the brownness. The white aged lamb chop shows a light red color compared to the dark red color found in the dry aged lamb. It could be result from the rise in the pH or the reduce of the moisture content in the dry aged sample. The texture properties were characterized by the texture profile analysis. You can see from the table, Both aging methods now quite different apart from the hardness and the chewiness. And the dry aged lamb has a little bit harder texture and a little bit chewier. Is very likely due to the loss of moisture during the aging method, during the aging process. So, to conclude, current studies successfully produce the dry aged lamb product strongly preferred by our 40% of consumer over the white aged equivalents. And also the result confirmed the niche nature of the dry aged meat and suggests that in fact dry aged lamb can be targeted to the high income consumers and also has a potential as a value added product for the export. So for the next step, we will focus on the market access requirement to allow the dry aged meat product to be exported. And also, we want to know better about our consumers to find out their preference about the dry aged meat. And also, it will help us to produce the tailored dry aged meat product to the right consumers. And this was supported by the Ministry of Science and Innovation New Zealand. I want to acknowledge to the Beef and Lamb New Zealand for their supplying the lamb sample to our for our study, and really appreciate the hard work for our science team. If you have any question regarding the presentation today, and please email me or send your request to the organizer, meeting organizer, and I will try to coordinate. Thank you.